Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order with a statement of proper notice. Notice of this meeting has been posted on the municipal bulletin board and forwarded to the Hopewell Valley News, the Trentonian, and the Hopewell Express on March 19th, 2025, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Here.
Committee Member Firandari.
Here.
Committee Member Ruger.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chait.
Here.
Mayor Peters Manning.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So tonight we will get started with, we have 3 proclamations tonight. The first one is a proclamation declaring April 7th through 13th as National Public Health Week. And as public health funding is being cut nationwide, I think this is a particularly important one to read in its entirety tonight. And we will start with our health liaison, Ms. Porandari.
National Public Health Week. Whereas the week of April 7, 2025 is a National Public Health Week and the theme... Sorry, should I start again?
No.
That's okay.
And the theme is It Starts Here, highlighting the importance of making a difference in our home, community, and state. Whereas this year is the 30th anniversary of celebrating National Public Health Week, and in the past 30 years, significant strides have been made in public health, including the following public health successes. 1. Death due to the HIV/AIDS, which peaked in 1994 at 49,095 AIDS-related deaths that were in US have dropped significantly with antiviral therapy, ensuring most people with HIV can live normal lifespan, and prevention tools like PrEP significantly reduce the transmission.
Thank you.
Smoking rates, which were as high as 25.5% among U.S. adults in 1994, have now fallen to 11.4% due to comprehensive smoke-free policies, public awareness campaigns, and taxation of tobacco products. 3, childhood mortality, which was at a rate of 13.8 deaths per 1,000 live births in 1994, has now fallen to 5.4 deaths per 1,000 live births due to vaccines, better health care access, and nutrition. 4, mental health awareness and treatment, with 40% of people with mental health conditions being untreated in 1994, has progressed with increased awareness, parity laws, and integration into primary care, which have expanded access to mental health services and reduced treatment gaps.
Lead poisoning, with 4.4% of U.S. children having elevated blood levels in 1994, has now fallen to less than 0.5% due to policies banning leaded gasoline and reducing lead in paint, pipes, and water systems. 6. Health impacts of climate change, such as rising heat-related deaths, were under-recognized in 1994, but are now being mitigated by actions such as public health campaigns, local adaptation plans, including cooling centers, and other preparedness plans to protect the public from extreme weather, wildfires, and other regional threats, and global frameworks like the Paris Agreement, or at least it was. 7, pandemic preparedness, which was in its infancy in 1994, has now grown, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, spurring significant advancements in mRNA technology, global vaccine development, and increased investments in infrastructure, stockpiles, and global surveillance, all of which must be sustained.
Whereas racial and ethnic minority populations of the United States continue to experience disparities in the burden of illness and death as compared with the entire population of the United States. And whereas a person's health status can differ drastically by zip code due to differences in the built environment, environmental quality, community context, access to healthy food, access to education, and access to health care. And whereas public health organizations use the National Public Health Week to educate public policymakers, public health professionals, and the public on issues that are important in improving the health of the people of the United States. And
whereas public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, ranging from infectious disease outbreaks to national disaster preparedness. And whereas efforts to adequately support public health and the prevention of disease and injury can continue to transform a health system focused on treating illness into a health system focused on preventing disease and injury and promoting wellness. Now, therefore, I, Courtney Peters Manning, do hereby proclaim the week of April 7th through 13th, 2025 as National Public Health Week in Hopewell Township, and call upon the people of Hopewell Township to observe this week by helping our families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and leaders to recognize the contribution of public health in improving the health of the people of our state and achieving health equity. As the theme states, it starts here. Thank you. So we have our next proclamation is in honor of National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 13th through 19th, 2025, and they are more commonly known as our 911 dispatchers. And we're also going to start with Ms. Prondari on this one.
Sure. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when emergency occurs, the prompt response of public officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of the life and prevention of property. And
Whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and EMTs is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Hopewell Township Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunications communicators are the first and most crucial contact our citizens have with emergency services. And
whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and EMTs by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And
whereas public safety telecommunicators of Hopewell Township have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And
whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their jobs in the past year. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the governing body of the Hopewell Township Committee declares the week of April 13th through 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Hopewell Township in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. And this is also a great time to announce that the more than $600,000 upgrades that we were grant-funded upgrades to our 911 dispatch center have recently been nearly complete, and the new dispatch center is now operational. It looks great if you're in there. So we're really happy and proud about that as well. Finally, we have our Arbor Day Resolution Proclamation. This is part of our Sustainable Jersey certification, and this one we will start with Mr. Katinsky.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and
whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and
sorry. Whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And
whereas trees in our township increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Hopewell Township Committee does hereby declare Friday, April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Township of Hopewell, and be it further resolved that the Township of Hopewell encourages all of its citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Thank you. So we have 2 additional items for the meeting agenda tonight. We have one is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding between the Capital Health Medical Center, Hopewell, Mercer County, and the Township of Hopewell, Mercer County for community health education. And we have a resolution directing the Hopewell Township zoning officer to issue a temporary activities permit to Gravity Hill Farm for Fisherman's Mark fundraiser event. Would it be okay if I added those to the consent agenda? Okay, so we'll add both of those to the consent agenda unless anyone has an objection. Okay. So with that, we will move to committee members and staff reports, starting with Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and committee members. First, I'd like to report that the Utilities Authority is working on replacing the controls in the Washington Crossing pump station. So we're working on a budget and a timeline for that. Also, I'd like to report that The township had another successful clean sweep last weekend. The numbers haven't haven't come in yet, but probably over 100 residents volunteered to clean up our roads and parks. It was well attended. And then also tying in with the Arbor Day proclamation, the township had a complimentary tree seedling giveaway. Gave away nearly 1,000 trees. There's a handful left that we're going to plant in the parks. So another successful program. And as you all read, how important it is to our tree to keep a tree canopy. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Troutman?
I don't have anything to add, thank you.
Okay, and then sitting in for Mr. Goodell, would you introduce yourself for? Sorry, I should have
Alexis,
introduced you at the beginning.
I'm here for Steve Goodell tonight, but we have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Fenton Newman?
Just wanted to announce that the next meeting on the 21st has been canceled, and the next regular meeting will be on May 5th.
Thank you. All right, moving to committee reports, starting with Mr. Ruger.
All right, I have three things this evening. Open Space Advisory Committee is meeting tomorrow night here in the Township Building. The Woolsey Park Advisory Committee met last week, and one of the things that the committee is going to do, Mayor, is they are going to come out with a proposed suggestion for a pavilion at Woolsey Park. The committee members have looked all over Mercer County at different pavilions and measured and come up with ideas. We've worked with Ms. Poveromo to make sure whatever would work for the park also works for her so that she doesn't have to rent a tent.
Great.
We've coordinated with the Arts Council to see, and also Mr. Chapowski as far as any kind of issues that might arise during the various celebrations. And we think that there's a good proposal that can come forward.
Great.
So they will come forward with an idea, present it to the full committee, and then we can decide where to go from there.
Wonderful. We've really made some great progress in Woolsey Park over the last few years, and so thank you for that.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to note, and this is a fun one, when we were at the League of Municipalities a year or so ago, because I didn't go to the meeting this year, but the year before, there's a project called Film Ready New Jersey. And what Film Ready New Jersey does is works with local communities to allow the community to highlight itself as possible filming places, which is actually a fairly cool thing. Because what has been shown is that when TV crews or movie crews come into a community, even a small production, they buy local products. They stay in local hotels. They don't necessarily pay the township anything as far as any kind of really significant permit fees, but it does bring a certain amount of economic development. So last month I went to a seminar where this was described, and we learned what it takes for Hopewell Township or any community to become a film-ready community. I then had a follow-up call with the deputy mayor and a member of the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission, and Mr. Chait is going to be taking this on. And he will be writing about it and moving us forward so that Hopewell Township can actually become a film-ready community. So I think it's an exciting part of economic development.
I hope there are movies about George Washington. Putting that out there.
There just may be.
There just may be. All right, thank you, Mr. Ruger. Mr. Kaczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. Just three updates this evening. First, from a Historic Preservation Committee standpoint, our Historic Preservation Commission is working to add several properties to the state registry. That will come back to us as an ordinance, but we think it's important to protect part of Hopewell Township's history, and we're going to do that with at least two properties. Second, from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, Ms. Troutman and I have been working with Ms. Poveromo. Our playground equipment at the MAC site it has reached an end-of-life stage, and so we're exploring options to replace that. And so we'll be back to the committee with our recommendation on that. And then finally, tonight there are two things budget-related on the agenda. For the budget, we will introduce the budget. We will have a public hearing once we're through state review on the municipal 2025 municipal budget. But the headline is that the tax rate will be going down as a municipality this year. Through a lot of hard work by everyone here and our professionals. The second thing is we will be bringing forward our capital ordinance. There will be a final reading this evening of the capital ordinance. As in years past, our goal has been to pay off more capital than we're taking on in new projects. And so we've done that this year through what we're retiring in debt from last year, as well as through projects we are directly funding from pilot revenues and from other municipal funds. And so we'll talk that up. We'll have a public hearing on that this evening. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Parandara.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I have a couple of announcements here. First thing is I would like to thank the township staff and the county officials for putting the crossing light at Twin Pines, not the pedestrian crossing light at the Twin Pines, and that was a big ask. And as we know that this committee is committed to improve the traffic safety in this town, and that's like a big thank you to all the involved people, as I said, township staff, county officials, and it's a big welcome. Another thing I would like to announce is the township is, along with the Cultural Connection Group, is organizing a multicultural day on May 10th. This is our second annual day, which is May 10th, and it's going to be from 11 to 3. Please, and this is great thing to celebrate our vibrant culture in the township, and all are welcome. Please bring your friends. If you have any diversity coming culture that you would like to share, please get in touch with us, and we can guide you from there. The third thing is we have an Environmental Commission meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Zoom, and all the information is on the township page. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Just a couple quick things for tonight. Firstly, just deep gratitude and thanks to our senior services and recreation departments. Several of us had the pleasure of attending the spring senior birthday breakfast last week, and just truly an amazing time. And we have some incredible residents here in town, and so just a wonderful time and a lot of gratitude all around. As Committee Member Ruger mentioned, Film Ready really provides an incredible economic opportunity when you think about the multiplier effects and how local businesses, restaurants, hotels, and others there. And so that is something that will be focused on. A lot more information to come. Also, we'll be working in conjunction with our Tourism and Economic Development Advisory Committee. And what you'll first see is an ability for local businesses, as well as local residents and others, to self-submit photos, descriptions, and more to get themselves onto the registries for the Department of Economic Development in the state of New Jersey for filming and things there. Youth Advisory Board will be meeting on Wednesday, and they'll be presenting at an upcoming meeting here, which will be very exciting. And lastly, Public Works, as always, doing lots of great things. One thing of just note for residents, the complimentary Hopewell Township Electronics Recycling and Paper Shred event is going to be 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday, April 26th at the Public Works Building.
Thank you. I have a few things tonight. I would like to second the Deputy Mayor's thanks to our senior services and recreation departments for the wonderful senior birthday breakfast that was this week, celebrating people who were born in the first half of the year. We also have one in the fall. It was a wonderful, well-attended event at the Hopewell Valley Golf Course. We also, for the Deer Management Committee, I have a report. Our harvest this year, we had 60 doe, 11 bucks, and 5 button bucks, which is up from last year. Does are the main goal. That is what does the best to reduce the deer population and reduce the environmental impacts from the deer population. Finally, save the date, Saturday, June 7th, for the Mayor's Awards for First Responders. This will be our second annual celebration, honoring our first responders, Public Works, Police, Fire, and EMS. More details will be forthcoming, but save the date, Saturday, June 7th. Okay, so we will have our public section now. So if you'd like to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name, where you live, limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. If you are on Zoom, please raise your hand and Ms. Fenton-Newman will call on you. There will be another public section at the end of the meeting, but this is our first one.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Before I begin, will you allow for public comment on Resolution 11A when it comes up? Or do we have to do it now?
This is your opportunity before the agenda. There's one public comment section now and one at the end.
All right, my time has started and it shouldn't have. Thank you. I haven't even identified myself.
I know who you are.
Well, I'm supposed to read my name into the record.
Mr. Edwards, please start.
Before you start the clock.
Thank you.
My name is John Edwards. I live on Pennington Harborton Road, live in the township. For the lawyer, but through you, Mayor, the status of the appeal with the boroughs, please. 11A represents, in my opinion, some substantial good news. The $16.1 million will help the school district with its needs. I think there are some other aspects to which it should be applauded. It recognizes finally that this committee lied when it indicated that there would be no impact on the schools from the pilots and from the way in which you have developed the west side of Scotch Road. I think that it's a good news because it helps to expose the fact that you bent the truth every time you said that every single dime received by the pilot that the Hopewell Township is forwarding to the school district. In fact, you were forwarding just about nothing. In fact, you were forwarding nothing, which is why the school district found itself in such difficulty with its own bonds and the rest. I'm pleased that some of the pilot money will go to the schools, finally, as a result of this. At least I understand it's conditional, but that itself would be good news. And there is recognition here that at least one of the pilots, Lennar, resulted in tax revenue that would normally have gone to the schools, went to Hopewell Township, and is now being returned. Finally, this does commit future township committees, and I thank the state for its insight in making sure of this to help contribute to the bond in future years. But there is one really important question outstanding. I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear it from you. What is the total amount, just for Lennar? There are other pilots of significance, but just for Lennar, what is the total amount that the Lennar pilot would be contributing to the township coffers without the measure tonight? What is that total amount? And the reason that I ask, and this is over 30 years, the reason that I ask is that 16.1 million, I believe, is a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of money that the school would have gotten if you hadn't passed the pilot. The whole point of this, of course, is that the pilot that you passed, and it's not just this one, it's several, has resulted in enormous stress to this community, to this valley. And it's reflected in a lawsuit, an important one. I hate ruling for lawsuits against you, but in this case, I'm happy to make an exception. The stress to the valley showed itself in a bond that the school put forth that failed. Some of you have children in this district, and you know fully well what that means. In the meantime, you're bragging that your budget, you'll be bringing a reduction in your own budget. Of course you will, with the surfeit of money coming from pilots. And all of that, of course, is at the expense of what happens at the school district. Thank you very much.
If there's anyone else in the room that would like to speak, please come to the microphone. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand, but we'll do the room first.
Not used to this. Hi, I'm Beth Sherline from Hopewell Township. My questions are about Beijing. So first, if you drive from along Pennington Rocky Hill Road, I don't know if you noticed the fence that they put up at the entrance there, but it looks like a prison. I mean, it's really bad. The lighting's really bad. And so my question is in regards to the zoning. Was that allowed under the current zoning, or did they get a variance? Like, what was the process of them being able to put up this fencing? That's really, I've heard a lot of people complain about it, so I'm just curious whether it was passed or whether they just went and did it. My other question is about the taxes on that property. So I know they have a pilot. It's different from the other ones. It seems to be based on revenues, and I'd love for you to confirm that. But I know that they paid $2.5 million, and that was state mandated because they didn't fulfill the affordable housing obligation. But moving forward, like, what can we expect in the way of taxes? I know there are other businesses there. Did they buy the property, or is it being leased by Beijing? And what can we expect in the way of revenue? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Jim Bird, Hopewell Township. A couple things. One of them is in regards to the two farms that are on the south side of Pennington, Washington Crossing Road. I've gone and done a little research on that and want to find out what our steps are in regards to either leasing or selling that property. And we're delving into that deeper as we go. I have to commend John Edwards in regards to the situation, in regards to the pilot program, and I agree with him 100%. I know that you'll probably say, nah, it's the best thing that comes down the pike, but it isn't. So I commend Mr. Edwards in regards to that, and hopefully you can align it a little bit better as time progresses. And the other situation is in regards to the, now I'll leave that till later. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Richard Fletcher, Orchard Avenue, Hopewell Township. My question is there any type of ordinance or something on signs? We just had a consignment shop down at the church down below the, by 95. Signs all over. There's still one on the corner here, and it was the April 3rd and 5th. So we're almost 10 days away from, or 10 days out from it. Signs are still littering the township. You already have an ordinance. It's called littering. You know, if you're putting something on somebody's property and not picking it up, not taking it, that's littering. There's signs for driveways, masonry stuff, everything like that out. People should be driving down the road. They shouldn't be looking down. They shouldn't be looking to the sides of the road. We need safer roads. You know, you said for the flashing light and stuff, we need drivers to pay attention to where they're going. Not all this garbage of advertising this, advertising that, for what? And then there's even a sign at the Newtown exit, when they come from church, come back down on 95, it's laying down in the grass here for the consignment shop, all the way over in Newtown. I was here 6 months ago. They do this sale twice a year. George sent a bunch of Public Works Department down to pick up signs. I really give George a lot of credit. You talk to him, he's a man of his word. He had Quandra call me back from the health department. Very nice lady, very polite, great person to talk to, and she follows through also. So I will say we have some great employees here at the township. I would just wish that our elected officials and all would do what's in the best interest for the residents of this township. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom, Ms. Fenton?
Anyone on Zoom, please raise your hand if you wish to make a comment. And no one's raising their hand, Mayor.
Okay, so with that, I'll close the public comment section, and I'm going to start with Mr. Fletcher. We do have a sign ordinance. It's unenforceable, but based on the advice from Mr. Goodell, and we need to revamp it. But in the meantime, Mr. Snyder, could you please follow up with the church again about this consignment sale? I agree that it's a problem that this happens twice a year and they're not picking up their signs in time. But we have talked about revamping our sign ordinance. It's very complicated constitutional issues that come into that because it's protected speech. So it's been on the list of things to look at for a while, and we know it's an issue. As for the farms across the street, I actually have a copy of the deed here. I know we've had questions about this in the past, and those properties have to be used for, and I quote, open space and the use and enjoyment of the public. So we can't just sell those. It's according to the deed and the redevelopment plan. It was part of a land swap, and the subject of the land swap was that those two properties were used for open space and public use. So we are in the process of looking at the oldest house as a historic property, perhaps working with the Historic Preservation Commission and the Hopewell Historical Society for preserving that home, perhaps having a caretaker live there. We are working on funding it with perhaps open space funds. It's in the process of being designated, as a historic property. So that is in progress. the Timberlane Horse Farm, we are looking at as a potential fire station, some adaptive reuse for that one. We've been working with our fire district on that one. We cannot sell those properties to the highest bidder. That is not allowed by the deed. As for B1, I'm going to let Mr. Kaczynski give that update on the fencing, which I believe is coming down.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So on both topics regarding B1 medicine, the planning board flagged the fence. We agree with your point of view of how it looks, and we've worked with the owners of the property, not B1, but Lincoln Equities, who owns the site. That existing fencing will be coming down, and they will be putting up a more farm agriculturally oriented fencing that is consistent with other fences on the property. So when we spotted the issue, 4 members of the planning board met with representatives from Lincoln Equities, and they were very gracious in admitting to the fault on that fence and to taking proactive measures to replace it at their expense. Regarding the B1, so B1 owns approximately 45 acres of the former BMS site, so that's now the Princeton West Innovation Center. They are making 2 contributions. One is because they did not provide affordable housing as part of their development, they will be making a payment of approximately $5.2 million to the township, which we will use towards our affordable housing fund and to eliminate over time the debt from Pennytown. The second thing is we did negotiate with B1 a pilot agreement. There are one of 2 mechanisms that pilots are based on. This one is on a revenue basis, and I believe by the end of year 7 of the pilot, they will contribute more money just on that one portion of the campus than BMS formerly contributed for the entire campus. And so I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but we can get those for a future meeting. But it was a positive step forward. It's worth hundreds of dollars for every resident in Hopewell Township. Final thing I will comment on, I'm going to address Mr. Edwards' outright mischaracterizations. We have been clear from day one, going back to when I was mayor in 2016, that we would support the school district. We live in one community, Hopewell Valley. Our schools are one of our prides and joys, and we've been working closely with the district. There is, some unfortunate litigation that we're working our way through. Mr. Ruger and I met with superintendent and members of the Board of Education, and we are going to make that commitment contingent, of course, on resolution of the lawsuit, but make a contribution towards the improvements at Bear Tavern. My kids went to Hopewell Elementary and then the high school and the middle school, but others on this committee have seen for far too long our kids being in trailers. They deserve, Dr. Shreese said it well the other day when we met with her, they deserve full classroom experience, the space, and we are making good on that with this resolution tonight.
Thank you, and I will just add on that, you asked for the status of the borough's appeal. We still have had Ms. Smith, you could tell us, but I believe I know, it's that we had oral argument, we're waiting a decision on the appeal, correct?
Yep, so all the briefing was done as of January of last year, or argument was October 1st of 2024, so at this point, we're just waiting on the appellate division, and you never really know.
Right, and our our resolution that's on the agenda tonight is, should the boroughs withdraw that appeal, we can move forward on funding this $16.1 million right now. We unfortunately can't do it until that litigation is settled, because we won't know if we have these pilot revenues until that is done. I also just want to say one thing about how municipal property taxes work. It is not that every person is allocated a tax dollar and then it's divvied up amongst the taxing entities. Each entity sets their budget, and then that budget is divided amongst the taxpayers. So the school district sets their budget, and it is allocated amongst the taxpayers. The way a pilot changes how the budget is allocated amongst the taxpayers, it does not take dollars away from the school district. Okay, so thank you. I think I've got all the questions there. There's another public comment section at the end. So we're closing the public comment section, and I will move to minutes submitted for approval. Tonight we have the special executive, regular, and executive meeting minutes of March 17th, 2025, and the special budget and executive meeting minutes of March 20th, 25. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Minutes are adopted. We have one ordinance on the agenda tonight. We have, for final reading, public hearing, and adoption. We have the bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Hopewell in the County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, appropriating $6,177,332 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,402,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost therefore. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Troutman.
Thank you.
This
So
is our capital ordinance.
So this is our capital ordinance. We had our first reading at our meeting back in March. This would be for final adoption. This is included also within our municipal budget that we will see later on the agenda today. It includes our road programs, vehicles. After many budget meetings that we've had, this was the ordinance that was developed based upon the needs that the committee and the staff brought forward. And it does require a down payment as well as a funding issue, a borrowing issue, which again is also included in the budget.
Thank you. And I would like to give a special shout out to you and Mr. Kaczynski for getting this done ahead of the municipal budget because it gets us better pricing. We've seen real gains on that over the last few years. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Mr. Kaczynski?
No, I think you said it. So.
Okay. Okay, so this is the final hearing and adoption. So we'll have a public hearing, which I will now open. If anyone would like to speak on this ordinance only, same rules as last time. Come to the podium, state your name, where you live. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. Not seeing any. Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom, Mayor.
Okay, so could I please have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, we've closed the public hearing. If there are no questions or comments from the committee, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Purandari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chait?
Yes.
And Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on final reading and will be identified as number 25-1842.
Thank you, and now we have the consent agenda, including our 2 additional items, which I will add at the end.
Mayor, I think we got a little problem. My Zoom looks like everybody's on it, but I'm not having a video. So it looks like maybe the owl is down.
The owl, perhaps?
The owl? Okay.
So we'll just take a 2-minute break, so our friends on
Joy, are
Zoom.
you having video problems? No. Okay. I still have everybody on Zoom. They're still connected.
Ms. Smith, if it's just Mr. Snyder having the Zoom problems, can we continue? Or do you see everybody, or should we?
Well, his owl is connected, so everybody
They can't see us.
unless.
Gotcha. Can they hear us?
I just lost one person, so I don't know if it's
That might have been George.
us.
Okay, we'll give it a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. We're just going to take a 2-minute interlude. Anybody have hold music?
Yeah, I've lost both my participants that were in here. One's back.
Admit.
If there's others on, then it is, since you log back in.
Right, yeah.
You should be able to.
I think we should all take it to you.
Plus the TVs.
Right. It looks like this is a problem with George's computer because Ms. Fenton knew it. Can you confirm if people can hear us on
Two
Zoom?
people knocked off, though.
But they came
So-
back in. They just came back
They
in.
just came back
Probably
in.
George.
Well, one came back in.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm still recording, so we have a record, and Joy is recording.
How many people did we have on Zoom? Just curious. Just one?
Yeah, I had two, but she got knocked off.
Mayor, while we're waiting, could you answer my question about the amount of money involved in the pilot? I did ask it.
I did. I'm just waiting for him to. Making him the host instead of the
So
co-host.
can you allow him to start the video?
I'm just like, I hit host instead of co-host, so now everything's good.
Okay. Okay, they can hear us, then I think is that okay, Ms. Smith? Okay. All right, so now on the consent agenda, we have A, resolution for redemption of tax sale certificates, B, a resolution authorizing refund of tax overpayment on subdivision, C, a resolution authorizing refund of road excavation application fee, D, a resolution approving the application of the Rutgers Master Gardeners of Mercer County and Cooperative Extension to conduct a plant expo and garden market, E, a resolution directing the Hopewell Township zoning officer to issue a temporary activities permit to Pennington Farmers Market for the 2025 season, F, a resolution approving the application of the Watershed Institute to conduct a Solstice Trail Run 2025, G, a resolution reestablishing the Hopewell Valley Green Team, H, a sustainable land use pledge, I, a resolution authorizing the cancellation of taxes on exempt properties, J, a resolution approving the payment of unused sick time to Peter Buchanan. And then our two additional items. Number one, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding between the Capital Health Medical Center, Hopewell, Mercer County, and the Township of Hopewell, Mercer County for community health education. And number two, a resolution directing the Hopewell Township zoning officer to issue a temporary activities permit to Gravity Hill Farm for a Fisherman's Mark fundraiser event. May I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? The consent agenda is adopted. Now we'll move on to regular resolutions. We have a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell memorializing its intent to conditionally commit pilot funds for a school facilities project. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Ruger, would you like to take the lead on explaining this one?
Sure. And what we're doing tonight is simply keeping the promise that we've made for years, which is giving money to the school district. It's that easy. We've said this repeatedly. We said it last year, and now we're putting it in writing. The ordinance commits us to pay up to $16.1 million out of pilot revenue. The amount came from conversations with the school district, which I very much appreciate the time that they have taken with us. And it is conditioned on two things. One is there is a mechanism by which the township can pay. There is a specific state law that can be used for this purpose. And two, the litigation has to end. We can, as the mayor said, We cannot commit money that we don't have. And as long as the litigation is pending, there is a possibility that we don't have this money. I will be very clear. The boroughs hold the key to the vault. Once the litigation ends, we will be able to provide the money. And the school district will be able to proceed with the improvements at Bear Tavern. I'm very excited about this. I think that this is a very good thing for the entire Hopewell Valley. And I do hope that the boroughs, I hope the boroughs agree as well.
Thank you. I'd like to add just two things to that, and I will open it up to the rest of the committee to talk about this. The state law that you mentioned is a new state law introduced by the legislature. I believe it was 2024? 2023.
2023 amended 24.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that, actually?
Yep, so the state law was, as the mayor said, just recently adopted. So the law, it is cited in the resolution, the specific section. It allows a municipality to do exactly what the resolution is proposing, which is to fund a school bond for school facilities projects through the use of pilot funds. So the bond is taken by the school, there's no referendum required, and the allocation is subject to certain state approvals. So again, the statute expressly allows this, what is being proposed.
Thank you. And we also have discussed this with the boroughs. It's not like this will be a surprise to the boroughs. We've had meetings with the school district and the boroughs about this as a potential end to the litigation. So this is just, we had to take this first step in order to, once we had the number finalized and once we had clarity on this state law, so now we are able to move forward this way on our end. Anybody else like to add anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, as a district parent and a Bear Tavern parent myself with daughters there, I'm thrilled that with this change in state law, we're in a position to contribute to the upgrades necessary at Bear Tavern. And again, through our partnerships with the district, and we appreciate working together, this is a big step forward, and we're excited, and we hope that the litigation ends, allowing us to do so.
I'm also a district parent. My kids, both kids went to from elementary school to high school here, doing very well, and I do very strongly believe that every kid in the district does deserve the same kind of facility which was top of the line when my kids were there, and continue to be that way for every single kid in the district. So I think this is a very good, bold step in that direction, and I totally support that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add, I think this is the right thing to do. It'll move our students at Bear Tavern into full classrooms. We'll give the expanded space that they deserve and need. One of the things that I learned when talking to Dr. Treese and her team was the state looks at total space in Bear Tavern. They look at the hallway space, and they consider that education space. I think for any of those of us who've had kids or friends and neighbors who've gone through the school system, kids deserve a real classroom, and this will help us move forward with that. I'm, supportive, and I'm thankful for the district for, showing us some grace. I know that they would have liked if we had been able to give this commitment sooner. We have been working with the boroughs, as the mayor and Mr. Ruger have said. At this point in time, we have affirmation that one of the boroughs is fully on board to end this senseless litigation, which they've already lost at the main court level, and to withdraw their appeal. And we're hopeful that the other borough does the right thing and also supports the end to the litigation and what's right for the students at Bear Tavern.
And Mayor, before we go forward, I do want to make sure that I want to thank, there we go, sorry about that. I do want to thank Dr. Treese. I want to thank the school board for their courtesy and the many conversations we've had. And I also want to thank the boroughs, because they have been willing to talk with us. We may still be disagreeing, but they've been willing to talk. And it's better to talk than not to talk.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Purandari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chait?
Yes.
And Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
And this resolution passes.
Thank you. Next, we have a resolution accepting the retirement of Sergeant Lincoln Carnoff in the Police Department. And I'd like to move this, so could we have a second, please?
Second?
I would like to just congratulate Sergeant Karnoff after 38 years of service in the Hopewell Township Police Department. It's a well-deserved retirement, and we wish him all nothing but the best in his retirement. If there's no questions or comments from the committee, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions?
And I think
Resolution is adopted. C, a resolution for the governing body certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records in employment decisions under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder, we do this every year.
Correct, Mayor. This is an annual certification stating that our policy and procedures manual allows us some discretion when reviewing someone's background check. Not everything is whitelisted or blacklisted, and we can make a judgment call.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution is adopted. D, a resolution appointing Fiona Lenzo as Administrative Assistant in the Administration Department. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
So the township advertised and interviewed for administrative assistant in the administration department and received several applications and had multiple qualified candidates. After thorough consideration, the hiring team decided to offer the position to Ms. Lenzo. She has interned in Hillsborough and also worked in Princeton.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? And thank you to Mr. Chait and Mr. Kaczynski, who were the hiring team on this one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution is adopted. E, a resolution appointing an alternate member to the Hopewell Township Affordable Housing Committee, Diana Borick. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Mr. Chait, would you like to explain this one?
Yeah, I want to welcome Ms. Borick for her volunteerism in joining the Affordable Housing Committee. She comes with a fantastic background both in working with affordable housing, but also from architectural and architectural gardening, and so really brings a great perspective. And again, truly, truly appreciate those who volunteer.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution is adopted, and please tell Ms. Borick that our congratulations and thanks.
Absolutely.
F, a resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of bonds of the Township of Hopewell in the County of Mercer, New Jersey, into a single issue of bonds aggregating not to exceed $1,170,000 in principal amount for sale to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman.
Thank you. So we had a project that was recently completed at in the Stony Brook Regional Sewer Utility. The project began in 2019, and over that space of time, we had adopted multiple ordinances for this project. This resolution brings all the ordinances together and issuances into one project. It is a requirement of the iBank issuance, which we will be in the near future going into closing on a loan with the iBank for that project. So this is a requirement to bring all the issuances into one borrowing.
So this is no new borrowing?
No
it's just
new borrowing,
combining
no
all
additional
borrowing
money.
for-
It's just a condensing to bring everything into one project.
And the iBank has excellent rates, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Pirondari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
yes.
Deputy Mayor Chait?
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
This resolution passes.
Next, we have Resolution G, a resolution to authorize the award of a required disclosure contract with Recreation Arts for 2025 Children's Events Programming. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
Recreation Arts certifies that they in compliance with the pay-to-play regulations. The threshold is $17,500, and this is a $20,000 program.
Okay, any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. H, a resolution awarding bid number 25-03, road improvements, Denau Road. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Snyder again.
So the township received 7 bids for the Denau Road pavement project, and Barrett Pavement was the lowest bidder. This is a DOT, part of this project is a DOT grant, in which the township was awarded $526,581, and the township is responsible for $60,467. So, and this bid came in well under budget of our previous estimate. I think It's around $90,000
Oh,
under our
that's
estimated budget.
Okay, wonderful. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. I, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 to the contract for bid number 24-12 for the 2024 Guide Rail Program through Road Safety Systems, LLC. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Snyder.
The 2024 guardrail program is closed out, and there was a $1,800 decrease change order.
Okay, any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. J, a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a shared services agreement between the Board of Fire Commissioners, Hopewell Township, Fire District Number 1, and the Township of Hopewell. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
And a second. Mr. Snyder.
This is another annual renewal of a shared service with the fire district. The township provides fuel, postage, uniform cleaning, and motor vehicle parts for the district. Because we are a larger entity, we could get favorable pricing.
Okay, wonderful. Shared service agreements are great. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. K, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding between the Capital Health System, Inc. and the Township of Hopewell, Mercer County for participation in the Arrive Together program. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
This is a new shared service program. There will be no cost to the township as the Department of Human Services provides the funding, and it's for mental health crisis interactions with the police department, where after there's an interaction, the police could refer Capital Health or Capital Health specialist to anybody involved in that crisis for follow-up.
Wonderful. And our police department already works with Capital Health to literally arrive together. So a mental health specialist will come with the police department for a mental health call. So, and this was requested by the chief of police. So I hope we are all in favor of this. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor? Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
just going to say, I'm very happy that we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was police liaison, learning that there are a substantial number of interactions between the police and residents where there is mental health involved. So anything can be done to get better outcomes for that is very, very welcome.
Agree. Any other questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. L, a resolution authorizing the execution of the agreement with Ewing Township and Lawrence Township of the development of a grant application for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Location Transportation Project Fund. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
And I will turn this over to Mr. Snyder, but first I'd like to just say a couple things about this. This is for the intersection of Federal City Road and Bull Run Road, which we know has been a perennial problem. We're working our way through the difficult intersections in the township. This one is particularly challenging because it's at the intersection of Lawrence, Ewing, and Hopewell, so all three of us need to work together. This is the county has also been facilitating this, and they are of the opinion that a roundabout would be the best solution there. And they believe that there will be Department of Transportation funds available. So this is merely to apply for Department of Transportation funds. No more than that, no allocation of costs. It is just to see if we can get some Department of Transportation funding. If we can't, we will consider perhaps a traffic light, some other improvements there. I do also want to add a not to exceed amount in this application. It shouldn't be much cost at all because it is merely developing the application. It's not developing the roundabout yet. So I would like to add a not to exceed $5,000 if anyone has any thoughts on that or questions on that.
I think it's prudent.
Very prudent.
Okay, so could we add that? So could I have then a motion as amended, please, for this resolution?
Yes. I'll move it as amended.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder, talked a lot. Is there anything that you'd like to
I think
add?
you covered it. You did cover a lot, Mayor.
Okay.
I will add that it's a MOA to apply for a New Jersey DOT grant for traffic calming. But I'd like to point out that Ewing is going to be the lead agency, and Lawrence and Hopewell will be co-sponsors.
Thank you. And I'm looking at the agreement here in paragraph number 4 under financial arrangements. That's where we should add the do not to exceed. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. M, a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a temporary construction easement for construction of an extension of the Lawrence Hopewell Trail across property located at Block 20, Lot 21, 1.011, known as the Hillman property. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
This is a renewal of a construction easement that was approved in 2023. It expired after 1 year, so construction hasn't started yet, and we're renewing the easement.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. N, authorizing negotiations for 24-14, 24R-14, ambulance supply bid under NJSA 40A:11-53. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
The township was awarded a $500,000 grant for an ambulance from Mercer County. The project was advertised twice, and the township received 0 bids. So now, according to the public procurement laws, we are allowed to negotiate with a vendor.
Okay, thank you. This is initiating that process of negotiation.
Correct.
Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution is adopted. O, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to submit New Jersey Historic Trust FY 2025 Historic Site Management Grant Application. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Mr. Snyder, this is from our new grant writers?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
Yeah, very exciting. The Aubrey Group, in conjunction with the Historic Preservation Commission, is applying for a $48,750 grant for a plan that would encompass the oldest house, the grounds around the oldest house, and the carriage house behind the oldest house. The total project is $65,000, and the township would provide $16,250 as a grant match.
Wonderful. Any questions or comments from the committee?
Mayor, I'm going to abstain from this, given my personal relationship with a member of the HPC.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
Resolution is adopted. P, a resolution for an emergency temporary appropriation. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Troutman.
Thank you. So as we've said at meetings prior, emergency does not mean that we are in a dire situation. It just means that we need to add additional funds, or we're requesting to add additional funds to our temporary budget, as we do not have an adopted budget as of yet. This resolution is to add funding just to the police department operation line. There are 2 vehicles on a lot that we would like to go ahead and procure now and not wait another month after the adoption of this budget. With the climate of the
Uncertainty.
world, yes, uncertainty. We would like to go ahead and make that procurement sooner rather than later.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Pirandari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
And the resolution passes.
Thank you. And tonight we have 2 bills and claims. One is everything but Comcast. The second is Comcast. Could I have a motion, please, for bills and claim number 1, which is everything but Comcast?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman, anything unusual in this bills and claims this week?
No.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Pirandari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
Bill resolution number 1 passes.
And now we have bills and claims number 2, the Comcast bill. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Pirandari?
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
Bill resolution number 2 passes.
And now we have our 2025 municipal budget introduction. This is the municipal budget notice of the Township of Hopewell, County of Mercer for the fiscal year 2025. And with this, I will hand it over to our finance liaison and our CFO, Mr. Kaczynski and Ms. Troutman.
Thank you. So this resolution introduces our 2025 municipal budget. The budget also includes the operating budget of the township. It includes the capital budget of the township, as well as the water and sewer utilities.
Thank you. Mr. Kaczynski, would you like to add anything?
I would just add that we'll conduct, we're under state review this year, so we need to submit the budget once state has reviewed it. We'll have a public hearing that shall be conducted no less than 28 days after introduction and approval. And so once we are through the review, we will schedule and notice that meeting, but I will just share the headline again, that the municipal tax rate will decline in 2025, thanks to the hard work of our professionals and team. So.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? Again, as Mr. Kaczynski said, we'll have a full public hearing in about a month on this.
Yep.
All right, roll call, please.
Committee, oh, you didn't do a moved or?
I'm
second?
sorry, I didn't. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
I usually do that right away. Roll call, please.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski?
Yes.
Committee Member Purandare?
Yes.
Committee Member Ritter?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Che?
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning?
Yes.
And the introduction passes.
All right, with that, we will move to our final public section of the evening. Same rules as last time. If you'd like to speak, come to the podium, state your name, where you live, limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. Ms. Benton Newman will call on you.
I just have some follow-up questions. Beth Shoreline, Hopewell Township. Who owns the property, the Beijing property? It's not Beijing, you mentioned some equity.
Yeah, so we'll ask
Yeah,
all your
so
questions.
ask all your
and I'll-
questions, but really briefly, Lincoln Equities owns
Okay,
the
so I'd
property,
like
but
to
it's
get
Beagle.
that name, if that's okay. And the tax projections
Can you
that
just push the
talked-
microphone down a little bit? I'm hearing from, yeah, there you
Yep.
go.
The tax projections that you talked about, is that available to the public?
Yes, it is.
Where can I, if you could tell me where I could get
Yep.
that would be great. The property across the street that the equestrian center and everything that you're going to turn into public, I guess, whatever. The fire station, the temporary fire station, there's a bridge. Have you thought about the fact that that bridge won't allow fire trucks, like it won't be able to hold them, and have you done any due diligence
One
and know
moment.
a projected cost of that?
Mayor?
And then the
I'm
last.
sorry, you just hold on one second.
I'm
What?
sorry, our, never mind.
All right, sorry, we're having,
Do I get my time back?
yes.
Yes.
Can you
Okay.
finish your thoughts? Go ahead. I will make sure you have enough time.
Okay, so just wondering about, there's going to have to be a bridge upgrade if fire trucks are going to go over that property. So just wondering if you've done any due diligence and have an idea of the cost of that. And then back to the 16.1 million, the expansion that you're doing at Bear Tavern, do you have an estimate of the number of students? Like, do you know how big the expansion is going to be, how many students you project? Because I know in the economic impact study, it called for an additional 396 students. So I'm wondering how many they're thinking are going to be going to Bear Tavern. Like, some would be middle school and high school. So just curious about that. And then also that economic impact called for, I believe it was $7.4 million a year for the additional students. So are you guys going to be like bonding for that to help pay for that? Or is that going to be part of the school budget that all the other residents will have to pay for? Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
John Edwards, Hopewell Township. You can hear me?
Yes.
As memory serves, Planning Board would want that the traffic study suggested that there would be no meaningful traffic impact. Is it your sense of things from your studies and the need for a traffic circle there that that assessment might have been in error, as just about every resident who spoke at that meeting suggested? Second, as is so typical at these meetings, a question, in this case one of mine, gets posed and there's no answer. So I have to ask it now after you've already voted, but I will. The Lenora pilot, your contribution of 16.1 million, okay. What is the total pilot contribution from and Lenora is just one of several of these pilots, but just taking Lenore, because that's where the 16.1 million is coming from. How much will Lenore be contributing in its pilot over 30 years to the township? So I think a fairly straightforward and simple question. And certainly since you voted on this, you should have the answer. Somebody mentioned the sign ordinance, and gosh, I started bringing that up, 4 years ago, and kept bringing it up, and then it got put on the extra little item on the agenda of items to be discussed or some such, and it never did. So, golly gee, this is not just a little bit dated, this is like 4 or 5, I can't even remember, but it's almost ancient. It's near and dear to my heart because I was mayor when that was passed. And it's interesting for you to tell me that it's unenforceable because we were enforcing it pretty easily. So I'm confused. That's not a question. You can ignore me on that. But please don't ignore me on the Lennar pilot and its total size. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
Actually, I have a few seconds left, so I will simply address the fact that your answer to me on the establishment of budgets was the same answer that I've gotten from you again and again and again, and it's not very helpful. When the school district doesn't get any money from those pilots, it faces the same problem that it faces. They want to maintain extraordinary quality in the schools, but they're not getting any money from those new developments. And what that means is that if they want to maintain the quality, they have to raise taxes on those of us who are here. I know you understand this, and it's astounding to me that you continue to avoid the obvious fact that this represents a burden, a significant burden on folks who are here, folks who've been here for a while and are already stressed from inflation, from their retirement savings dwindling suddenly. You know the drill, and having a little bit more honesty from this committee would be a helpful thing. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Hi, I'm Sylvia Kosis. I'm from Pennington. I know I'm not from the township, but I'm one of the residents that I'm grateful that the mayor of Pennington and the mayor of Hopewell Borough and Mr. Edwards and Harvey Lester and others spoke up for us, because we're a shared community, as you said, and the school is a shared school. We're a regional school district. And when one of those entities refuses to support that school district through a pilot program that doesn't allow taxes to be collected, as it is on all of us, it's unfair, and it's unfair to the students. So I am grateful. I hope the litigation gets solved, and I hope that we don't have to go to litigation ever again, because we are a unified Hopewell Valley community. I also would like to ask what John asked, what would the revenue be from that pilot if it were to be taxed the way all of us are taxed? My second question is, you mentioned that over 10 years, these developments, the 3 developments, would provide an additional 250 students over 10 years. We already know that we have many, many students who have come to Bear Tavern and also to Stony Brook. I'd like to know how many students that is, and how close are we to the 250 mark that was supposed to be over 10 years. And lastly, I just want to say that we have to think about things in a nonpartisan way that is going to meet the needs of all of the people in this district, those of us that are retired that might not have students in the school but still pay taxes, and those that are just coming into the development. We all need to have equity and fairness. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Richard Fletcher, Orchard Avenue, Hopewell Township. Again, on the signs, John's right. This has been brought out 5 years. As far as I care, you guys, the biggest thing here is safety. The safety of driving down the road. You know, Kevin, I saw you shaking your head when I said that. It meant something to you by saying that. It is important. Denell Road 31 is one of the worst, and I heard this from Rich Hutchison years ago, and he's been retired from the EMF services, that's one of the worst intersections in Mercer County. And that whole intersection, all 4 corners, have signs all the time. I don't think it's right that my tax dollars, and everybody here from Hopewell Township's tax dollars, pays Public Works to go down there to pick signs up. It should be the person that puts the sign out there being fined, so that if Public Works has to pick it up, they're getting a revenue for picking up. They're getting paid to pick it up. But just by sending them down, because the church wants to have a consignment thing twice a year, and their signs are from Newtown to here, there's one right here on the corner that hasn't been picked up, I think it's pretty bad. This has not just happened. I was here 6 months ago. I've been here before on it. John, I remember. You guys got to do something. It's safety. It's safety. You belong driving down the road, seeing your surroundings, not reading a sign. Safety. Again, I think when you saw me walk up, you thought I was going to ask when I'm getting my sewers and water, because that's all I've been beating that dead drum for how long? But I'm one of 3 streets in the southeast quadrant of the township that doesn't have water or sewer, okay? But you can give everything else out to all these new developments and all. Oh, fine, they pay millions of dollars, but you did nothing to Lennar or anybody coming in here to improve the infrastructure of Hopewell Township, to improve the schools, anything. Lennar should have put some. When Hovanian put a housing down there, they gave property for a school and stuff. We got something from them. Lennar, what'd he do? You gave him a pilot program. That does a lot of good. Safety. Safety should be number one.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? If there's anyone on Zoom, Ms. Van Newman?
Song and dance.
No, Mayor, there's no one on Zoom.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Rosetta Tree, Superintendent of Schools. I live in Newtown, so if you want me to take any of the signs back over across the bridge, I will do so. And then I'll take some of yours from our side and bring it back over here. We have the same problem. I wanted to say on behalf of the district that we are grateful of this resolution tonight from the township, pledging to contribute the $16.1 million toward the expansion of Bear Tavern. There was a question I can answer. The $16.1 million is the estimate for the addition on Bear Tavern right now. I don't know what it's going to look like in November, right? But right now, that is the estimate that we have from the architect for the full build on the expansion that should cover the demographer's prediction on students coming in. We've had about 75 students enroll in district since the developments have opened and they're starting to fill in. It has had an impact on the district. It has affected us in terms of class size at Bear Tavern. It has affected us in terms of the cost to our general budget, in terms of transportation, which we've had to expand as a result. Staffing as a result of hiring more staff to cover the students, because if they come and there are students with special needs, that requires additional teachers, paraprofessionals, and tuitions for out-of-district placements that they come with that we have to honor. So what I'm asking, in addition to this first step, which is that commitment that, quite frankly, they have been committing to for years. What we haven't had until tonight was a number, and what we continue to not have is a MOA, a memorandum of agreement, that legally binds the township to this money. And I know that there's these lawsuits that are out there that is tying your hands. So my pledge is not just to you, but it's also to the other two, the boroughs, the other two municipalities that are also entertaining pilots right now that will continue to cause this problem. So in addition to needing that agreement from everyone that we're going to move forward together for our children, because this affects our children. The school district is drawing people to this district because we offer a premium education that people come to our district for. What we offer in special education services, we're one of the top school districts in the state to do what we do here. And also our class size, which is now blowing up. Class sizes of 25, 26 happening at Bear Tavern right now, because if they all come into one grade, we can't predict for what grade they're coming in and where the crowding is going to happen. So now I have to do something for the first time as superintendent in a long time, which is redistrict and move people that are settled in one school to another and their kids are going to be uprooted to make up for this. And I don't know what else is coming. So I'm hoping that tonight is the first step toward that final agreement, legally binding agreement that says that we're going to drop the lawsuits, and then that opens you to be able to give us the money we need to build on the Bear Tavern. And that moving forward, any pilots, before you entertain any of that, the school district is brought in on that conversation so that we can plan ahead. And I know I went a little over. I apologize for that. So thank you. I appreciate all of your efforts.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Anita Williams-Galliano. I am the president of the Hopewell Valley School District, and I want to echo Dr. Teresa's statement of thanks. I know this has been a long journey, and also I want to thank the community for an ongoing support and conversation about what our future quality of schools look like. I want to underscore a couple of things as we move forward and look forward to the MOA and, again, starting with this first step. The thing that I wanted to underscore with the township, and I hope we'll have not only the signed agreement, but also the language to push back on some of the conversations that end up impending or impeding our ability to pass a budget or pass a referendum. We've already seen in just the last few days some conversations online, which we all try to stay away from and not engage in. But it does hold a very negative view of the school district and how we've approached the budget and the referendum. And so we've been literally at the mercy of this agreement. So I'm sharing with you all tonight, but also saying the boroughs, we ask for your support. Certainly in the editorials that are being put in the paper negatively reflecting what the school is doing when we've kind of been smushed in the middle. There are people who voted against the referendum because they had concerns with the township. This is a tough place to be, and this is the feedback that we've had to respond to. A year will be a year since the initial referendum, and we already know our expenses are rising like everyone's else. So the impact to the disagreements out there is more than just the cost of the 16.1. What was at risk? Is a less expensive venture, honestly, if we had resolved this in last year when we had the opportunity. So my thanks, first of all, and second of all, my request is as issues come up in the papers and so on, that you support the school district in speaking against some of the derogatory speaking and the misinformation that's being posted out there, which basically puts the issue of pilot in our lap, and that we were not being forthcoming, et cetera, or pushing you hard enough. So we've really been in a bind, and I, again, just wanted to share that experience with all of you so you know the impact. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Because I would like to respond to that. Let me just, I would like to take, before I close the public comment section and before we move on, I would just like to say you have not heard a single thing from anybody on this dais that is negative about the school district ever. Ever, not one single time has anyone on this dais posted anything, said anything negative about the school district at all. I can say personally, I think some of the signs that were in the township and some of the language that was in editorials was abhorrent, and I would never speak that way about another branch of government in the township. So I'm just going to put that out there, and I don't really appreciate the suggestion that any of that is coming from us, and I just want to make that 100% clear that it is not. We also deal with plenty of negative talk online. It's just part of being in government, I think, and misinformation gets spread all over the place. And I just, especially when it comes to affordable housing, I just want to talk a little bit. I've said this over and over and over the years. Our new neighbors are human beings. They are moving into our new neighborhoods. We have had welcome events. We've met them here in the Township building and in their neighborhoods. We talk about these new people moving into our community and people coming into our school district like they're not a part of our community. The New Jersey the way we do affordable housing in New Jersey, nobody thinks is efficient. None of us think it's efficient. It's not the best way to get affordable housing built in New Jersey, but it's what we have, and it's important, and we have to follow the state mandates. We are doing all of this development as a part of our mandated, unfunded state mandate for affordable housing. So I would just like to put that as the overarching theme about what we're all talking about. I know change is hard. This is a lot of growth for our community over a short period of time. I understand that. We're also dealing with more police officers, we're dealing with more fire calls, more EMS calls, we're dealing with all of that. But the way we speak about our new neighbors is really important, so I would like to just preface whatever we're going to say for the rest of the public comment section with that. What Dr. Tree said, this resolution is absolutely a legally binding agreement on this committee to do what we said we're going to do. We can't come up with an MOA until the boroughs now take their step. So we understand that. And we also, this $16.1 million is what the district has asked us for in pilot revenue. The pilot agreement itself contemplates sharing revenue with the school district on special projects just like this. If there are other things that come up, we have a very good relationship with the school district. We talk often. Please, let's keep in touch. We'll talk about we'll talk about what comes next. So this was our first step. This is by no means the only contribution that the Township Committee will make to the school district. So I just wanted to make that crystal clear before we move on. So I'm sorry, there are other people that would like to speak, but I wanted to address that as it came up. Please.
Good. Hi, Matthew Colner, Hopewell Township. So I have 2 future trailer park boys coming into the Bear Tavern School District. I'm not part of the new development, so don't judge me on that. Been here for about 10 years now. I think one of the challenges we're having overall, and I'm just looking for an answer of how to navigate the conversations between the township committees and the school districts to understand how I'm supposed to be following things like pilot versus funding versus making sure the expansion goes to, the money's supposed to go where it's supposed to go. How do I deal with the understanding now of redistricting, like what that means for someone that lives near the school? Because now it's a new concern of that's why we bought a house here, so now we're redistricting, and that's always a fun challenge. I would love to know where the new developments fall within a redistricting program versus people who have houses that are actually close by. And I don't know where to ask that question, so I'll probably be asking in 3 different places. As far as the Timberland, whatever it's called, the Farm Center, Equestrian Center, I would be interested to hear, or I don't know, the studies or thought considerations there around. I know having fire department staff and everything's great. On top of a hill, I don't know if there's any concerns around fire and sirens going off now around the area, lighting, everything else. Along with that bridge, because that thing is, driving up and down there, good luck getting 2 cars, let alone a truck. I think around the circles, I'd like to kind of understand where to kind of keep track of how many circles we're building now, because I think we're up to 4 within literally 1 turn. If they're proposing also the circles around, I guess up by Udo's, I always forget the name of the street, but then you're going down to Bull and you're hitting a 4th circle. So love to hear that. And then film ready. So obviously everyone likes, I guess nowadays wants attention and wants themselves in their area in film. I'd be interested to know, I guess, what type of films are allowed to be filmed in an area. Because, we always love the 2 a.m. police filming for certain shows. So I'd like to understand how we kind of deal with that in the future. Like if it's stuck to historic or if it's going to be more highway scenes down a road because they don't happen to have forest in the area anywhere besides here. We'll assume maybe not to be. But just something to keep in mind for the film ready of like how much more we're going to have and, why do I need police action videos in our area? So just one thing to keep in mind too, obviously brings business in, but you know, what type of thing we're talking about here from a film-ready standpoint. Yeah, but I think really it's just trying to figure out how to help parents that have been in the town that are now about to enter into the schools to where to go for that. Like, there's the homepage for the school districts, there's other places, and it's just information of where to go for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? There's anyone on Zoom, Ms. Fenton Newman?
Anyone on Zoom that wants to make a comment, please raise your hand. No one's raising their hand, Mayor?
We have one more in the room.
Hi, Allison Yakas from Hopewell Township. I'm a little confused about the issue with the pilot program. Maybe someone can explain, is the lawsuit what prompted the township to designate the $16.1 million to the school board for the Bear Tavern improvements, or was that already ongoing? Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, there's a lot, so with that, I'll close the public comment section. There's a lot to cover here. I covered a little bit of it sort of midstream. I will go for the B1. Mr. Kaczynski, could you say where we could find those tax projections? Is it on the website?
It would be, we can, Ms. Fenton Newman, if you can find what meeting we approved that, we can direct the folks to the minutes.
And then we can perhaps post that.
Yep.
Maybe Ms. Troutman, we can have that posted somewhere on our website. The farms across the street, as I mentioned, after the first public comment section, the oldest house, we're looking at historic preservation and working with the Historic Preservation Commission and the Hopewell Valley Historical Society to preserve that as a home and perhaps the headquarters for the Hopewell Valley Historical Society. We're in the very beginning stages of all of this. As for the potential fire district, the fire truck has gone up there and it's gone back down, so it is possible. They looked at the bridge. That will be for the fire commissioners to determine. We are partners in that. That is their area of expertise. It's not for me to tell them whether a fire truck could go over that bridge. When I brought up this potential to the fire district, they were all very excited about it. So I think they would know better than you or I about the capacity for that area for a fire station. We are way far from where the cost would be for that. We're now just merely looking at the well and the septic system. Again, we're at the very, very, very beginning of this conversation. We will keep everyone posted as we have since the beginning of this conversation. The question, I think we had a question about how to project the new students that I think we'll have to, or how many students are going to Bear Tavern. I think Dr. Treese answered that. The traffic study at Woodmont, the intersection of Federal City and Bull Run Road has been a problem for a long time, even before I believe the traffic study at Woodmont was talking about the intersection of Federal Point and Federal City Road, which is the entrance to the new development, which said there was no light needed, but I think we've all agreed that Federal City and Bull Run is a problem intersection and has been for years. We allocated money for a traffic light. How many years ago was that, Mr. Kaczynski?
At least 4.
3, 4?
Yeah.
And again, it's been tied up because of the complications of doing anything with 3 municipalities involved. Mr. Kaczynski, you probably don't know this off the top of your head, but can we get the number of how much Lennar pilot is total contributing to the township? That'll actually probably be a part of our budget hearing at the next meeting, or not the next meeting, at the budget hearing. That will definitely be a part of our presentation. The sign ordinance, you can imagine it may raise some constitutional issues if you're going to fine a church for putting up signs about a fundraiser. So it sounds like it would just be easy for us to just go and fine the church, but it is complicated. There have been Supreme Court decisions since Mr. Edwards was mayor 20 years ago that have changed the interpretation of the sign ordinance. We have a lot of priorities. The sign ordinance right now, I understand that when there is a safety concern, Public Works does go and clean up the signs. It is not a extra charge. I understand your concern. When it's a safety concern, we absolutely are on it. When the sign ordinance is a complicated thing. We've had attorneys looking at it, and honestly, we've had other priorities that have come up over the sign ordinance. Not about safety. When it's about safety, we clean it up right away. Okay. Sorry, there was a lot here. Oh, film ready. Could I ask Mr. Chait or Mr. Ruger to answer that question?
I can take that one. What Film Ready does is it allows the creation of a registry that location scouts can then look for locations. So if you're looking for a Victorian house, you know, on a quiet street, they type that in, they can find it in the database. Then what they do is they come to the community, they come to the property owner, whatever, and then they negotiate whether or not the person wants to use their property for the particular film. So it's not up to us to decide. I mean, if there is a decision that a property owner wants them to film, then we would probably go through something the equivalent of a special activities permit or temporary activities permit that would give them the right to do it.
Well, and just building off that to the question on, you know, things that might be incredibly disruptive to residents late at night, 2 a.m. There are guardrails in place, and so all this is public if you go to the website from the state Department of Economic Development. But essentially, part of the many pieces of the process that we'd be going through is either through an ordinance setting rules, or if we leverage something like our temporary activities permit, we'd be required to create a very specific code of conduct. And so we're at the front end of this journey, but all of those will be in place. And in fact, you know, in a great way, there was some filming that went on in the township last year, so we have been learning through processes as well.
Yeah, we actually have a sample code of conduct that we're reviewing, and we haven't shared with our attorney yet.
Okay, so for the water and sewer, we've talked about this, Mr. Fletcher, many times, and Mr. Goodell gave you a brief history of sewer service in Hopewell Township last time. I won't ask Ms. Smith to repeat it because Mr. Goodell is the expert. But part of the reason that we've been able to limit development in Hopewell Township is because we don't have the water and sewer infrastructure that some other towns have. So it is something that comes with pluses and minuses. And the new builders of our new neighborhoods many times had to sue ELSA in order to get sewer service, and we did, as part of the negotiation, reserve 10,000 gallons of flow for residents close to the sewer service area with failed septic systems. Is it perfect? No, but it's not nothing either. Finally, actually not finally, we have the redistricting would be up to the school district, that we have no say on that, so we can't comment on that. I talked about the fire station potentially. Traffic circles, I can tell you the county is really big on traffic circles right now. They are apparently safer than traffic lights. It reduces fatal collisions by something like 70%. Don't quote me on that number, but I've talked to the Mercer County planner on this. I'm not a big fan of traffic circles, quite frankly, but they are safer, and that is why the county is looking to do more traffic circles. Udo's, that intersection is in Lawrence Township. As for what prompted the $16.1 million, that was not the lawsuit at all. In fact, the lawsuit is what held us up from doing this months and months and months ago.
Yeah, we committed back as far back as 2016 that we would support the district and any capacity-related moves. We did a joint demographic study with the district. You know, in partnership, it showed that we would not exceed peak enrollment, even with some of the growth in the community. As we've talked more with the district, education has changed since we were at our peak of 4,100 students. And so there are, as the superintendent said, there are different needs, and that, you know, if there's a specialized classroom, it may not be able to hold 25 or 26 students. And so we've been working very closely with the district on it. We think it is the right thing to do, but it was contemplated many, many years ago. And, you know, as long as I've been up here and my folks who have, you know, come on since, you know, have also reaffirmed that commitment to the district. We all believe that one of the things that makes Hopewell Valley special is our school system. You know, the mayor said it earlier about some of the negative press out there. Certainly not coming from us. I think we're cheerleaders, you know, for the school district, and we appreciate everything the district does on behalf of our students and our community.
And as I mentioned, this $16.1 million is what the district has asked us for. So this is the beginning of a conversation, an ongoing conversation, as we see how many students are moving into the new developments, and you know, as things progress, things will change. We've been very flexible. We've been in constant communication with the district, so this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and as the liaison to the district, I commit that I will continue to work, with the schools, and we will continue to have discussions.
Thank you. All right, so tonight we have an executive session resolution, and we will not be coming out and taking action after the executive session. We have the topics tonight are litigation, real estate, and personnel. Could I have a motion to go into executive, please?
So moved.
And
Second.
a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Whereas it is necessary for the Township Committee to discuss real estate legal contract negotiations and/or personnel matters, and whereas NJSA 10:4-12 permits the Township Committee to conduct a meeting from which the public is excluded in order to discuss such matters, and whereas the time, when, and circumstances under which discussion conducted in executive session may be disclosed to the public is when appropriate. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that the Township Committee shall forthwith conduct an executive session to discuss the above. Be it further resolved that the scope of the aforesaid executive session will be limited to the above matters as stated. Thank you. We're in executive.